Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Ridiculous. We told you we'd be back, and here we are. We're in different locations, but yes, Bharat Sundaresan has joined me for day one of the first test. A pretty interesting day as well. Let's get straight into your nominations. Mukund Agarwal nominates as good. Bumrah getting his first home test wicket. I did tweet this. It blows my mind that this is. It feels like he's been playing in Australia and tearing apart Australian batting for decades, and even in England, it does blow my mind. Even though obviously fast bowlers don't get enough, so to see him get his first test wicket was actually fantastic. But I mean, that is pretty wild, isn't it, Bharat?
Yes, it is, Mel. As wild as it is doing the good, bad, and the ridiculous over Zoom when we are not in the same city and when we are not standing next to each other. It's kind of weird, isn't it? And it's like an odd time of the day as well. It's nearly that time of the day where I have to speak a little softer than I usually do because my wife's asleep and not too far away from here. So I will try to keep it soft, but of course, I can't. I have no volume control. And I will not control my volume when I express my excitement over the Jasprit Bumrah wicket, but because it's been strange. Like, how often has as a bowler become a superstar in world cricket, and then the home country get to showcase him to their own home fans? Though there was nobody at the Chepauk today, but it was just one of those things. And there you go. Not only did he take that first wicket, for me, I think what was up there as the goodest thing was that last wicket, getting a wicket with a Yorker. Was classic Jasprit Bumrah, and we've not seen Jasprit Bumrah get too much reverse swing away from home. So he really seemed to be enjoying the reverse swing, especially with that first wicket of Dan Lawrence. It came back a long way. So there's been a lot of talk about how much Bumrah should play at home when it comes to Test cricket, but it's going to be difficult taking the ball away from his hands after the way he was getting it to go today.
Absolutely. Now, next nomination is Ramana's tweets. Nominates ridiculous. How ridiculously good is Joe Root batting in the subcontinent? He's not had the worst ever start to a year as he has in 2021, has he? I mean, it's pretty fair, you got to say.
Yeah, I've honestly always underrated Joe Root, the batsman in the subcontinent, as you know, Mel.
I know. I wasn't going to dob you in.
I'm an honest fellow. I have been scoffing at some of the pieces I've been reading on Twitter from some of our very dear friends over in England about how he's the best player in spin. Because in my book, I still rate Ben Stokes higher than Joe Root in this batting lineup when it comes to batting against spin, purely based on how they went in the 2016 series. But well, yeah, you couldn't you couldn't question Joe Root's claim to be the best batsman, not just in this English lineup, but also the best player against spin on the basis of the way he played. It was a slow pitch. There was no Jadeja, so you could see that Ashwin did trouble him early on, but he played it smartly. He didn't sweep Ashwin at all. He waited for the likes of Shahbaz Nadeem and Washington Sundar, who, no offense to the Sri Lankan spinners, but who are in a similar mold to them, not in terms of quality, I mean, but just in terms of the way they bowl. So Joe Root could back his sweep shot without having to worry about the bounce, which Ashwin does get off the pitch. So he played a very smart game today. He's still out there. I just thought I wanted to see more of Ashwin v. Root. I don't think we saw enough of it, or as much as I wanted to see of it, because Ashwin bowled so many overs in that first session that Kohli had to go to the other two for long periods after say the lunch break or so. So yeah, but classy innings for sure.
Yeah, and that was interesting because there was that bit in that second session when Root was quite new to the crease, and I mean that the Ashwin Root battle was cracking, and so was Ishant. At that point, Ishant was bowling really well without reward. So his battle with Joe Root was also really good. I think it took him like about 50 balls to get to 10 runs, and I do wonder there too with Ashwin if we might see in this test the after effects of having had that really long series in Australia and then coming straight back to this. So we'll see how that plays. But yeah, 100th test, getting 100, shushing the people who keep talking about his conversion rate and not getting enough hundreds and getting 50s. But that was a pretty impressive effort by a captain playing his 100th test and just doing it in style. It was really, really good. Ankit Sachin Raj nominates the pitch is more flat than Bharat's tummy. This is ridiculously boring and won't help if you want to bring more eyeballs to the test arena. First of all, Ankit Sachin Raj, I just want to know how you know what Bharat's tummy looks like, because I've spent a lot of time with him and I certainly haven't seen it. Just saying.
I was I read that, Mel, when you emailed me the nominations. I want to find Ankit Raj and give him a big hug because it's a compliment my tummy hasn't received very, very often. I am carrying a little bit of my tour weight. As you know, we sleep odd hours, we sleep or eat odd times. We eat a lot of rubbish when we are on tour. So I'm still working on it. I have restarted my swimming, so it's not as flat as it should be, but just like the pitch, right? Like, I think the pitch, for in my book, it was just a classic Indian test pitch on day one, but we didn't expect it to be as flat as it was. Because of all the talk with the curator, we've heard about this new curator who said
it was going to be a green mamba, wasn't it?
It was supposed, yeah. I mean, it was supposed to be a pitch that resembled English conditions. Maybe on the basis of what we've seen, he meant when England ruled India, I guess, because it did not look anything like any pitch I've ever seen in England. Or I'm sure you haven't seen any pitch like that in England either.
Maybe Somerset maybe Taunton in September, possibly. I don't know that. It was, but also I guess you have to also take into consideration not just the pitch, but the ball, because we saw the ball seem to deteriorate very, very quickly, and the seam as well. And so maybe it was as a combination of the pitch and the ball, which made everything softer. Certainly the ball didn't seem to be coming on as much, and that did make it a bit easier for England.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there was no fizz of the pitch, right? Even when Ashwin was bowling really, really well, the ball wasn't really gripping and jumping or even just rushing the batsman, as Ashwin can get the batsman, especially in these conditions or in home conditions. We can't say these conditions anymore, Mel. They've all gone. But it was one of those. But look, the last time England played a test in Chennai, the last time Chennai hosted a pitch, we were just looking at the scores, right? England finished day one at 284 for 4. I remember covering that match. England looked on top. Moeen Ali made 100, if I'm not mistaken. And they went on to make 470. And then what happened? Karun Nair makes that triple 100. So there's still a long way to go. It's still day one. In my book, it was classic attritional first day test cricket on a very, very, very typical Indian pitch, which had no semblance of English or England on it at all.
Yeah, could just see England making 450 and then India making 650 and declare
850 maybe.
It could happen. Dr. Naufil nominates Rory Burns reverse sweeping has to be the most ridiculous thing of the day. Poor Rory Burns. Poor Rory.
I know. He was playing so well. Like both him and Dom Sibley, they as well as Ashwin bowled in that first spell, they seem to have negated any challenge that India posed to them. It's not like India bowled too badly. It's not like they wasted the new ball. Bumrah, Ishant, Ashwin, even Shahbaz Nadeem, the way he started, they were all very disciplined. But that shot came from nowhere. I'll be honest, I'd just gone to pick Isha from school at that point, and I quickly drove back in. I walked in when I saw Dan Lawrence get out. And I was like, oh, and I've never seen Dan Lawrence bat before. We couldn't see the Sri Lanka test here. So for my first look, I thought, is that Sibley getting out? And why? But why does it say 2 wickets? And then they kept criticizing the Rory Burns shots. I had to wait for the replay, and I was like, oh no, Rory, what have you done? Like, it looked like it was England's session. They finished on top at the end of the day. But yeah, if I think, but you can see that there's been so much talk in this English camp about how you want to play these Indian spinners. And the sweep shot seems to have been one that they all have decided upon. But Rory Burns did one thing which Joe Root did not do, like we said, which is try and sweep Ashwin, and that to a reverse sweep. Then your head is all over the place. It was good bowling, but it was a forgettable shot, and especially after having done all the hard work.
Well, I think that was the thing. They had done all the hard work at that point, and for it to happen, the session, apart from like a few minutes, it had been such a great session for England. I think Ashwin had changed it at the start of that over and had come over the wicket as well, and just changed his field positions around. So maybe that kind of messed with his head a little bit, but it did come out of absolutely nowhere. And look, that's the danger of the reverse sweep, isn't it? When it works, it's just everyone loves it so much. When it doesn't, it's just everyone's going to bag you out all the time. So look, there were still positive things though for Rory Burns today. That was like a really successful opening partnership in India when you look at in the past. So things to build on. We might not see him pull out that shot too often. I don't think he ever plays it much either. So we might not see him pull it out for the rest of this series.
Hopefully not.
No, at least not like that.
Yeah. At least middle it. Get some bat on it.
At 100 Yogas nominates Sibley's wand-like waving of his bat when playing a shot as ridiculous. Now, I mean, I take issue with this because I think it is an incredible achievement of English cricket that they have managed to find an opening batter to partner Rory Burns, who has a more obvious tick than Rory Burns. That's genius to actually have done that. I was sitting there watching it. I was almost practicing my Rory Burns head and my elbow from, and I'm kind of thinking it can become a dance move or something. I don't know. It's great. I love it. We need more of it. We need more Steve Smiths, Rory Burns, Dom Sibley. I love it. I think it's good.
Yeah. We need like naturals, like, people who come in with unique techniques and more importantly, stick to their unique techniques. And it's not really a technique. It's a trigger position, right? And I tweeted about this, Mel. It almost reminds me of whenever I get into the shower, I hate cold showers. So I always want a warm shower if it's available, that is. And when you turn the hot water knob on, I always stand outside the shower. Nobody needs to know about my shower techniques, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. And I always like to put my hand out just to check if the water is actually warm before I step in. That's what it looks like. He tests the waters.
Well, actually, it's almost like he's turning the tap. It's like a turn of the tap. I think that's what it is.
That's true.
We've nailed it. It's like turn the tap, test the water.
Test the water, turn the tap, test the water. That's what Dom Sibley's technique is all about. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We break it down into such simple, understandable terms. There you go.
Kind of analysis.
That's what it is. And
it's the kind of analysis you just won't get anywhere else. In-depth analysis.
And you shouldn't either. Yeah.
Oh, Corona Kalana nominates Kuldeep not playing is beyond ridiculous. Lots of nominations for this one. Give us the loader. He's gone down a long way in the pecking order, it seems.
Yeah, first of all, I love that Twitter handle, O Corona Kalana, translates to O Corona come tomorrow. I think if you read it right. Yeah. Well,
there's every chance I haven't read it right.
I'm sure our listener can explain to us, or a viewer can explain to us where that handle comes from. But Kuldeep Yadav, see, we knew why he did not play at the Gabba. I know the team management was criticized even there. It was purely because they wanted someone at number 7 who could bat, and they wanted 4 seamers as a result. And it worked out. Here, I think he would have played if Akshar Patel was fit. And Akshar Patel would have played at 7, and Kuldeep Yadav would have played as the third spinner. Look, there is some cricketing logic to it. I don't think they wanted to play 3 spinners, everyone turning the ball the same way. Yes, I know there are some out there who say that Kuldeep Yadav can turn the ball both ways, but you don't pick a wrist spinner based on the fact that he bowls googlies, right? I mean, that's not So yeah, I mean, you can argue on both sides. Now, in hindsight, you can look at how the way Shahbaz Nadeem is bowled and say, "Oh, did we really need him?" But I think that's the logic that was used by the team management, which I think is decent logic. And we'll see how this test match goes. Like I said, this is just day one. Shahbaz Nadeem might end up with 6 wickets like Jadeja did last time. Who knows? And people will not talk about Kuldeep Yadav like they did not after the Gabba. So you do have to feel bad for Kuldeep Yadav. Suddenly he's seen two guys step in front of him from outside the squad and play a test match while he's waiting. So, but that's how things go, unfortunately, at times. But we'll wait and see.
Pie Chuckers Cricket Podcast nominates Sibley or Pujara. Who would be ridiculously good to play the tortoise if a movie was to be made of the tortoise and hare story? I kind of love that. To think that Sibley faced as many balls as he did today, that was possibly as valuable as the runs that he made. And he doesn't look anything at all like Pujara, but I can see why, there's the same pace. There's something quite familiar about that. And it's interesting to see England having gone through a period where under Trevor Bayliss, they were often scoring more quickly, and you'd see these collapses. To see a player like him come into the side and make his mark, I think that's a great thing, because they've still got players who can move the score along quickly, as even we saw with Joe Root when conditions sort of settled down and were right for him to score. But I love that. I love it. There could be an English Pujara.
Oh, an English Pujara. And they pretty much in one day's play showed you what Australia could not do over 4 test matches consistently, which is when you get a chance, I know different conditions and all that, but there were some flat pitches here as well, like the SCG, for example, where Australia could have made 450. So it was great to see an opposition team go to India and find a batsman like that. Dean Elgar did quite well, I think 2 years ago or whenever South Africa last went to India. And he's in a similar mold, Dom Sibley's. Ugly in some ways, he's not the prettiest, but I think he plays pretty. And I think he plays prettier shots than
his features are all in the right order.
The eyebrows are like, sorry, cut that out. No. We are not objectifying cricketers here. We're only talking about their batting. And actually, I like the way he plays through the onside. And he pierced that gap so many times, especially of the left-arm spinner. But it's a great sign for England if they can produce more guys like that. Like maybe it's a change in culture. Like you said, we heard Nick Knight on commentary talk a lot about what Chris Silverwood has brought to this team, and in comparison to Trevor Bayliss. Who will play the hare though? That's my question. I saw that question. I think
Josh Butler.
Josh Butler, or I thought you'd go Rishabh Pant, a talkative hare.
Rishabh Pant.
Yeah, Rishabh Pant would have songs about the tortoise, and then I'm sure. But the big shout out to the Pie Chuckers, our friends at Pie Chuckers. They've been sending in a lot of good questions and showing us a lot of love. That's always good, right, Mel?
Yeah, always. We love love. We love love.
We love.
And Luke nominates as bad Indian spinners bowling multiple no balls. Well, not just spinners. We actually saw a huge number of no balls today. That was, although the nice thing was perhaps that we didn't hear anyone in commentary make noises about or say it was interesting about no balls. So that was interesting. So that was good, a good thing. But yeah, that's something that they surely going to want to sort out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know. And Shahbaz Nadeem bowling 4 or 5 no balls. It's I heard Murli Karthik on commentary saying that for a short man, he has a very long stride. But it was strange because they were decent no balls. Like his front foot, he was missing the popping crease by quite a bit. So Shamsuddin, the third umpire, look, this is also the first time 3 Indian umpires for a test match since 1994. So Shamsuddin was on the money. He was like getting them, like he was picking no balls out like that. So he had a great day. What do you say? Great day behind the computer screen. I don't know what screen is sitting behind, but he had a good day. But Ishan Sharma is still getting into his rhythm. And like someone said, a lot of no balls of the last ball. Maybe the conditions had something to do with it. Fatigue. I don't know. Maybe.
Interesting.
Last ball. Yes, not at all. Not interesting at all.
No, it's not interesting at all.
The opposite of
it's like No, I don't know what the opposite of that is.
Yeah.
So let's get down to business. What is your winning thing for the goodest, or what is your goodest thing for the day?
I think has to be Joe Root and the moment he went down with cramp. No, not really. But I thought that was funny as well when Virat Kohli. You know my love for pro wrestling. I was so sure he was going to put him in some pro wrestling submission move, and we got a lot. I got a lot of nominations online. Kurt Angle's ankle lock is what won, I think. But anyway, anyway. So I thought Joe Root, the way he batted, and Joe Root playing a switch hit in a test match in India as captain, I think really stood out for me. That was a special moment on a special day for a special player with a special knock.
Okay, so good, definitely Joe Root. What was your baddest thing of the day?
It's difficult to pick on any Indian bowler. I think it was the flatness in the Indian team, especially when you're coming off such a high, when you won such a massive series, like, one of the most famous series ever in Test history. The fact that they went flat, and you could see Rishabh Pant from behind the stumps in Hindi, he kept saying, we can't do this, we can't do this. Someone has to show some energy. Aise nahi aayega, you have to do something. Wickets are not going to come. And he was really upset with Washington Sundar and Nadeem at one point, Mel, because he kept saying, you're two spinners, we need to be quicker in between overs. And I don't know, that lack of energy in the middle was surprising. And I think it was the baddest thing of everything, because yes, on this pitch, not taking wickets can happen, but the lack of energy.
And your ridiculousest thing for today was?
Ridiculousest thing for the day. I think our ridiculously wonderful description of Dom Sibley's tick, or the little load up that he has. What did you call it? Turn the tap,
test the water. Tap, test the water. Sort of in one motion. Turn the tap and test the water.
Yeah, that's why he uses both hands, right? He's testing the water with one hand.
Turn the tap, test the water. That is ridiculous. I think the state of the ball might overrule that.
Yeah, that looked like I know we both had dogs at home. It really looked like a ball that unfortunately rolled next to like a big dog, like a German Shepherd. Who I had one, who would not. I had to really hide any leather ball or any kind of ball from him, because that's what it would have looked like if we had spent 10 minutes with it. But yeah, at times it looked funny when they were trying to shine the ball and Ishant Sharma kept looking at the ball. It was a close second, but I think we hit it out of the park with a ridiculously good.
I'm going to try and combine the Rory Burns and the Sibley, although I don't think I'm coordinated enough to do it.
I think you're going to hurt your neck, Mel. Before let's not. We have a long series ahead.
We do have a long series ahead. So, and we will be here every night. So make sure that you subscribe, send in your nominations, please share. We love to hear from you, and we will be back for day 2 from our living rooms. We'll see you then.